folks, and welcome to a little tutorial about your final presentation. I wanted to give you a little bit more in-depth clarification about this presentation proposal. I know I'm going to get a bunch of questions about it, so I wanted to kind of jump the gun here. So your presentation proposal, this form, is under the shared files, and it says Final Presentation Rubric. And so your proposal, you're just submitting this first page to me. The second page in this is the rubric that I will be using to score you. So the first 5 points of your final presentation is just simply submitting this proposal. This proposal is just an outline to get you to start to think about what your final presentation is going to be about. So let me go through this first page here. I'm going to show you a couple examples in a minute of past students that have submitted these. So typically if we were in an in-classroom course, we would present these the last day of class. Because this is an online format, we're going to use our imaginations, and we're just going to kind of do this as if you were giving this presentation to someone else. So you're going to record yourselves doing the final presentation. And you're going to upload it to our class YouTube channel by the last day of class. That's your final assignment. And I'm kind of sticking to this final presentation format because it's one of the best ways that I can assess your understanding and your mastery of this material. So what I ask students to do is think about the material that you've been reading and learning about, and how possibly can you connect this to either a career that you're already in or one that you want. I know a few folks have emailed me about what careers they're already in and why they're taking this course. And some of you are teachers, some of you are nurses. There's lots of different reasons why you're taking this course. So how can you apply this information? Can you apply information about the development of self? So let's say, example, you're a teacher and you want to give a professional development to other teachers. You're gonna start to talk about who's your target audience, what's your role, what's the setting of this presentation? Are you giving this at lunch? Is this a day where it's teachers only and you go through sessions, kind of like a conference? What topic are you going to be presenting on? Again, I'll show you an example here in a minute. What are your objectives? We'll go through this. These objectives are really just for your thought process and the brainstorming of this final presentation. The content, so you need to use 1 to 3 journal articles. So these are not things that you would Google and look up online. These are things that you have to look at through the database. So PsycInfo is usually the most accessed psychology database. So you would look up peer-reviewed journal articles, something that's written in the past 10 years about the topic that you want to present on. And you're going to use some of that research in your final presentation. Here, again, you're going to provide an APA citation for these things. So I want you to both use things from your textbook and use journal articles. And then the presentation. This part here is just really for you to kind of get your mind around what kind of presentation do you want to give, and how are you going to make that look. So Bloom's taxonomy. I also uploaded another form under the shared files because I thought it might be a little bit more helpful. I went through this kind of in detail in the recording about the syllabus, so let me know if you have questions about how to use this, but I'm going to move on to show you a couple examples. So this example here is from one of my students last semester. This was a person, they worked in a pair. And so their presentation, they were drug counselors. The setting of the presentation was like a group, like an AA meeting. And they were doing this presentation to teenagers. So the topic they were presenting on, the addictions that could last a lifetime, starting with peer pressure. And so you can see their theories that they're touching on: parental monitoring in chapter 13, But they also, within their presentation, talked about drug and alcohol use and risky behaviors. They're pulling things from the textbook and then developing further on how you can actually apply this stuff out into the world. You can see here, these are their objectives. The teenager will be able to relate to the peer pressures they face now and days on whether, you get the point here. I'm not going to read these whole things to you. So these objectives, again, are just to kind of get your mind around what you're going to be presenting on. You don't necessarily need to do all three of these things because your presentation is only 5 to 10 minutes long, and you're not really going to be able to go through all three of your objectives. So pick one or two objectives that you're really going to focus on in this presentation and do them well. If you have questions about that part, let me know. Let's go on to another example. Okay. This student, again, this was a partner presentation. You guys obviously in this online course are just going to do solo presentations. So they're RNs. They're gonna present to intern nurses. Topics I'll be presenting on, so they focus on the self and friends and peers. Self-esteem, self-image, identity confusion. Again, here you can see what their objectives are. And then down here, they're using Erik Erikson's theories. And down here, it's just kind of what they needed for their presentation. Through one more so you can kind of see a third option. This student wants to be a guidance counselor. So she pretended like she was a guidance counselor and was presenting to high school kids. Her topic was helping students to figure out their next steps in life, choosing a major, career in the military. Here you can see the theories that were behind it. Her APA citations. I'm not sure why these are in this color, but that's okay. And so I want you to list both journal articles and the APA citation for them. I want you to talk about theories that back up the reasons for these things. If you have questions, please send me an email. I may do a live online chat if that's something that everybody's interested in. I know this presentation proposal initially is a little bit confusing, but once you sit down to work on this, your final presentation is going to just be effortless. You're going to be able to just, stand there and deliver. And that's kind of the point of doing this final presentation. So again, if you have questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to help you out.